So we're talking about selling something, especially or specifically, we're talking about selling the lie to Joshua and the leaders of Israel that the Gibeonites are distant people. So selling the lie. What do they need to sell that lie? Well, you need a few things. They need some good proof. It's not real, but it's a good deception. Okay, and also they need to find some, like good salespeople. They need to find some motivation in their patsy to use that against them, to take advantage of it. Of course, obviously, this is not all sales. Like some stuff that is sold can be valuable, meaningful, even necessary. So not all sales are evil. That's not my point. But here we're talking about things that are sold which are worthless. In fact, it's not just worthless. It's destructive. It's destructive for Israel. So what did they need? They needed some desire in the leaders of Israel that they could exploit, that could be turned back against the Israelites. It appears that perhaps the Israelites actually wanted to have some allies. They knew they had to fight a lot, and maybe they just desired to be on good terms with someone. Maybe they wanted some sort of peace. They desired some sort of peace. So the Gibeonites turned that back against them. Based on that desire, now they could bring their arguments, they could present their quote-unquote proofs, saying in Joshua 9 that look at the moldy bread, look at our our drinking bottles, the skin, the leather bottles, and they are all torn and old, and they just showed multiplicity of proof just to reveal that, gosh, this is just the best decision you can make, because they found that desire. So this is interesting. It kind of leads me to that thought in Numbers 24, when King Balak has a problem. His problem is Israel. Yeah. So he wants to have a solution for them, and he wanted to have a spiritual solution. So he calls the prophet Balaam. Their names sound very much the same, but he calls the prophet Balaam to curse them. Okay. But then it turns out that the people of God cannot be cursed. So that's a real problem for the king. So there was no spiritual solution to this problem. And therefore, the king believed that calling the prophet was a waste of time and a waste of money, useless. However, then Balaam offers him another solution. This is Numbers 24:14. Balaam the prophet says, I'm going to go to my people, come, and I will tell you what these people will do to your people in the later days. And then also he explains some more stuff. Basically, he says, spiritually you cannot destroy Israel, but let me advise you another way. I know another way to destroy Israel. And basically, he's telling him how to sell stuff to you, how to sell evil onto Israel. So this is Numbers 31:16. This harks back, and there we see that the prophet Balaam figured out that the holy God could not fellowship with sin. So he suggested to the king that the king would infiltrate the camp of Israel, but not with an army, not through a curse, but through his evil counsel. The king sent women to cause the sons of Israel to sin, lewdness, just fornication. So the Gibeonites sold the lie to the leaders of Israel. King Balak, he sold immorality to Israel, and both of them sold through something that was desired. So what is the lesson here? Okay, interesting thoughts about what is the lesson here. Well, it is simply that the word of God needs to be obeyed. It's kind of a simple lesson, but it's very true. Even when I desire very much, even when I desire something very much that's against the word of God, yep, the word of God should be obeyed. This is a challenge for us. But then we say stuff like, or no, actually, we don't say these, but we think them. We think, You know, I could get really rich if I just lied just a little bit, you know. I could get really rich through that. Or I could get really, really powerful if I just made a few, well, I know they are very ungodly alliances, some very ungodly friendships, but you know, I could get really powerful, and it's all for a good cause. Because eventually, when I'm really powerful, I would be like great, you know, and those kinds of compromises made, yeah, you know. So this is the point here, that we have a choice when the enemy turns back some kind of desire in us, that you know, we have a motivation for something and the enemy turns it back and wants to use it against us. What is our protection? It's the word of God. What will we choose? God bless your day.